Okay, I'm going to see if I can give you a brief outline on. I don't know exactly how to title this lecture. It has to do with a cipher. A cipher is a code, it's a way of sending secret messages. And the cipher is known as gematria. And you can find gematria calculators on the internet. You can use them for free. And what does it mean? Well, I haven't formally studied gematria, so I'm going to go freestyle with it and tell you it has something to do with an egregore. What is an egregore? An egregore is perhaps related thought forms. An egregore is created by humans who are using a hive mind. In other words, a group of people together, their minds link. And if you have a large group of people putting in a lot of effort around a certain subject area, then the egregore is infused with the life of those humans who have been associated with these thought forms. So, thought form egregore is a creation of taking thought forms that are at a certain level of consciousness and that's about as far as I can get. So, what do we know about gematria? Um, it has something to do with numerology, and various people are into numerology. I can't say there's only one group that's into numerology, but it's most probable that the Masonic groups were into numerology because they had all these degrees, and the 33rd degree was something that you could attain in Masonry. Those people that we go deeper and deeper to try and understand, the Luciferians, apparently are also into numerology. Is it based on Masonic numerology? I think it's hard to tell because I don't have anybody in my direct circle who's Luciferian or who's Masonic. The Masons said that they believe there was a great architect. Was the architect God? Um, I never joined the Masons, so I can't tell you for sure. But I think they believed in having higher power. Now the question is their architect the egregore, the Masonic egregore, or is the architect a higher being? What's the difference? Well, I mean, if the Masonic teachings were at a certain level of consciousness, let's say that the Masonic teachings are at 200 on the scale of human consciousness. That's the level of courage. I think so. I could check. That is correct. 200 on the scale of human consciousness is courage. So if, yes, they say, if Masonic teachings were at 200, then the thought forms at 200 would be used by people at 200, and the egregore itself would calibrate at 200. It's not really anything more than I can tell you that I don't know where the Masonic teachings actually are. It was just an example. What is the significance of knowing about gematria? Because it seems like our world is tied in to this cipher. How do we know this? Because we use spelling, and our spelling that we think is just how we read words are used by some people to sometimes people use anagrams, which is, if you take one word and you rearrange the letters to get other words. Sometimes people use like homonyms, words that sound the same but are spelled differently. Sometimes maybe if you said the same word in different accents, the word sounds different, but it's the same word. And the word could change into a different word depending upon your dialect. If you follow some of my talks here, I talk about Jacques Derrida, the literary critic, and I did some ideas with how you could look within a word to find other words. What's the whole point of this? Well, if it's true that our world is like a matrix, like the Matrix movies, and there are pre-planned events in our world that are mostly hidden to the average Joe, but to someone who is in the know, they can look to see how world events are playing out based upon gematria, or perhaps they can get ahead of the game and come to see what is going to happen in the future based upon extensive studies of gematria. Do you feel like I'm in the dark and what are you really talking about, Old Spicy? I'm talking about proof that perhaps our world is not exactly free. Perhaps it is pre-planned by certain egregores. As I said before, an egregore is not a human, but it is an energetic thought form grouping. Is the egregore affecting you? Yes, because it's affecting your world. And the things that you just hear of as, a new common thing that everyone understands are not necessarily things that I understand. They're just assumptions. For example, you might assume that I know a lot about X, Y, or Z subject, given the fact that I talk about a lot about it. I wouldn't assume that I know anything at all, because genuflecting on it all, I don't. I strive to have no thought in my mind. So where does the information come from? It comes via, maybe somebody might say it's channeled in from other beings for the purposes of educating you as to what you're really involved with when you are not so much interested in anything at all. Someone wants a for example. The for example is if you are inserting yourself into other people's lives, you don't really know what you're getting into, do you? Why would you? Well, maybe you were hired by a family business. So you inserted yourself into a family who owns that business. And you might not think of anything of it. You just go into work and you do your 8 hours of labor. Maybe you're a cashier and you don't really ever consider that in the family business that members of the family are quite interested in you because not only are you a cashier, but you have become part of the family business, which means in some ways you become part of a family. And maybe you're kind of expected to adopt the manners of that family. Moving along, I don't want to do too much more than involve you in a certain website, gematrianews.news, where you can go and you can go, what? Because that's the kind of website that one is. It's one where you're going to go, what? So I do encourage you to go there. If you're following me on Instagram, you're unfortunately going to have to type in gematrianews.news. I'll put it there, but it's not clickable. If you're on YouTube, you can go down below this video and you can see in the tags. I'll put it in that section for you, the comments section, when you can possibly click on it. But please go and look, because I really want you to go, what? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share. In air, it's gematriaeffect.news. Why did I make an error? Most likely I was making an error because I just found this website and it didn't clearly sink into my mind. An alternative would be it gives me a chance to tell you some other information. Unfortunately, there was another website that has been changed. It used to be much better organized. It used to be called Illuminati Matrix. And it used to be very easy to go in and find all kinds of things that would make you go. But the website, the last time I was there, it's not nearly as easy to navigate. I don't know why it was changed. And I don't even know if it's up anymore, but this is something I discovered a very long time ago. And it really makes you question reality. If I can find it, I'll also put it there for you, but I do caution you, it's much more difficult to navigate and it might not be useful at all. Nevertheless, if I can find it, I'll put it there for you. Thank you.